Now let's get started. Lying down on your mat and organizing your feet. Think about the feet in line with your hips and placing your hands now on your ribs as we focus into our breathing. So we're going to think about your breathing to allow those ribs to settle down into the mat and organizing through the head, neck and shoulders. The arms placed calmly by your side. And as you inhale, you're going to allow your breath to fill the lungs and exhale, rolling the pubic bone to the belly button. Inhale, roll it away. Thinking of your belly button like 12 o'clock and the floor as 6 o'clock. As we continue in this clock type movement, we're hollowing through the belly with the focus into the pelvic floor. Inhale as it gently rolls away and exhale as you hollow into the belly. You're doing that nicely and you can continue that thinking about the placement through the legs. The head, neck and shoulders just follow with the movement. So there's a very gentle movement as if cascading through the rest of your spine. Inhale and exhale. We're now going to allow that movement to travel between the right and the left. Think of that traveling between 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. You can press through the heel to help engage through that bottom slightly and lift through that side of your pelvis. Gentle rock as if like a seesaw action between the right and the left side. This feels fabulous in your lower part of your spine, mobilizing into the back. Now we're joining it together into the full clock face as you're rolling to one side, through to the belly button, over to the other side and back towards the ground. Making it as mobile and supple as you possibly can into the lower part of your spine. Use your breath quite naturally here. And then reverse it. Good. Feeling quite fabulous in the lower part of your back now as we're preparing for the rest of your class. Think about the contents of your belly following the bowl of your pelvis as you gently rolling through. Remembering that neck and shoulders just soft and calm. Placing your hands now by your side. Thinking here, as we stabilize one side, allow the knee to gently fall out into our bent knee fall out exercise. So we're stabilizing in one side of your pelvis as we ask the thigh bone to gently roll within the joint of your hip and move away from your center. The neck and shoulders still staying very calm down in towards the floor. Continuing that movement, thinking about the ribs staying settled, but with the arms now towards the ceiling. Feel as if someone has hold of your fingertips, dragging them towards the ceiling, and let those shoulders then settle back down. This will just help within that whole head, neck and shoulder area to become quite calm. Adding the challenge now with those arms away from your hips, and we continue with that bent knee fall out. Remembering we're very stable on one side and asking the other side to move away. Have a little bit of extra weight down into your tailbone and think about the movement from that pelvic floor in the lower region of your stomach. So there's a little zip through your pelvic floor. As we travel the arms now, they're traveling past your ears and down by your side. As the movement happens within the joint of your shoulders, the ribs stay very still. So we're just asking the arms to move independently of the torso. Use your breath. Think inhale and exhale. Breathe in and breathe out now as the arms open away from your midline. Inhale as they travel back to the center and exhale as they move away from your midline. Again, we're nice and rested through the torso, just asking the arms to move independently of the shoulders. A little more challenging now as both arms travel overhead. It's as if the ribs are sliding down towards your hips as the arms go behind you. Again, the ribs staying settled in towards the mat. Use the out breath. Breathe in as they travel back by your side, and exhale now as we're creating the circles. If at any time you feel discomfort or pain in the shoulder, just decrease the movement. Exhale, rolling through. Inhale, travel back to the center, and exhale, rolling all the way back and behind, and letting those arms back to the center and settle in towards the floor. Thinking still of the length of your body now, as we now add movement through the legs. So we decrease the angle of your hip to bring the knee just above your hip line. Think about your bottom balancing on a ball. And we have an even amount of weight between the right and the left side as we're traveling one leg up, followed by the other. Then we add the movement and coordinate it with the arms. Exhale as we lift the leg, and then inhale as you place it down. And you can think of the floor as if it's a fine sheet of glass. So you're placing the foot ever so carefully back into the floor each time. Floating the arms behind, and then come back to the center. We're now going to have both legs join. By having the shins a little higher than your knees, it's just a tad easier. But you can challenge yourself now by having the shin bone in line with the kneecap. We open the hip line and then travel back towards your midline, but no further than the hip. So be careful of that knee traveling too far into the chest cavity. Feel in the lower part of your back that you have the same amount of work no matter where the leg is. So careful of changing the position of your pelvis. Use the out breath now to lower both feet towards the floor. We interlace our fingers to place them behind our head, and this supports our head. The elbows are in your peripheral vision, so you can see them out of the corner of your eye. Supporting your head, you're folding up into a little gentle chest lift. So inhale to lower, exhale as you're folding up. And feel that you're peeling the ribs gently away from the floor to close that distance between the ribs and the hips. The hips stay perfectly still. So we're just asking that upper body to float up, adding the challenge there with a little bit further into that flexion, and then melt back to the floor. Breathe in, exhale as we're folding up. Inhale, reaching one hand up and behind your thigh. Exhale, fold in a little deeper, replace it back behind your head, and then return towards the floor. Breathe in, prepare, and exhale as we're folding up. Inhale, place one hand behind your thigh. Exhale, folding the other leg up. Deepen in towards that chest lift. Hold it there for the endurance, and then return towards the ground. Prepare, breathe in. Exhale, roll into your chest lift. Reach the other hand behind your thigh. Fold up a little deeper, lifting that leg towards you. Stay there for the endurance. Place the hand back behind your head and melt towards the ground. Breathe in. Exhale, folding up. Inhale, reach that hand. Exhale, close that distance. Inhale, lift. Place the other hand back behind your head and return it down to the floor. Prepare, inhale. Exhale, folding up. Inhale, reach the hand behind your thigh. Exhale, deepen that belly. Stay there for that little bit longer as you return the hand and then return back towards the ground. You certainly would have been feeling the belly working there. Really nice preparation now. Breathe in, and as we exhale, we're just folding up into a little assisted roll up. placing your hands behind the other thigh and melt your spine back down towards the floor. Inhale as you prepare. Exhale, the weight of your leg assists you to roll up, finding your seat bones stack up tall, and then allow the other leg to assist you on the way down. And ease it up. Find the feet to the floor. Place your hands behind the other leg and then melting your spine down, keeping the feet there for as long as you can, then both legs join us. A little trickier now. Breathe in as you're rolling up. Find both feet to the floor, stretching up tall towards the ceiling. Now keep the feet to the ground for as long as possible and then bring them just above your hip line. Prepare, breathe in. Exhale as we're rolling through the body. Feet plant to the floor, lengthen through your spine, and then ease and melt it back towards the ground. Rest those legs in towards your hips and exhale as you're folding through. Sternum slides towards your hips, lengthen up through the back of your neck. We're going to hold onto the side of your knee now and add a nice stretch. So feel those ribs wrap around your spine. Use the breath. As we change to the other side, sit up tall. Place that hand in quite close to the hip line. Feel the shoulders sliding down your back and turn your chin towards that back shoulder. Very nice. Gently melt your spine now back down towards the ground. Find a good position here of your spine. And then allow those knees to gently fall in one direction as your head turns to the other. Think about your spine rotating in two opposing directions. So as your head is turning in one direction and your knees in the other direction, you want to feel it's like you're wringing water out of a towel. Every time you return back through the middle, find that lower back gently pressed to the floor. Lying on our side now for book openings, inhale as that elbow reaches to the ceiling. Exhale as we open from the chest. Hold there, inhale and exhale as we return back to the start position. Think about your pelvis staying nice and still here, and we're asking the ribs to move around our spine. Using the weight of the elbow to just open through the chest, but ensuring that that arm stays in line with the shoulder. Really utilize your breath here. It will enhance the stretch. Excellent work. Now we're going to press out, using that front arm as a little bit of a stabilizing support for some clams. Those heels are together. Having a look at my heels, we're pressing the top heel down and the bottom heel up. By pressing those heels together, we'll just help you engage a little more through your bottom. We're allowing that thigh to open within the joint of your hip and then gently close back down. The upper body just nice and calm and still. You may feel more comfortable by placing a towel underneath your head. A little extra challenge here now. By having the feet elevated, the movement's the same, and we're still asking that thigh to roll around within the hip, but the pelvis stays very sturdy and still. Pressing top heel down, bottom heel up. Very nice. Last one there. And then lowering the feet towards the floor. Rolling around onto our belly now, placing the hands underneath our forehead. Think about as much length as you can find through your spine, right from the crown of your head, right through to the tailbone. Inhale as we lift through the chest and exhale as we roll back down. Feel the collarbone stretching out through to your shoulders. Really imagine that you're moving one vertebra at a time. Turning the head in one direction, coming up, looking over that shoulder, look to your hands over the other shoulder and then ease it down. Inhale as we come up, looking over the shoulder towards the hands, over the other shoulder and ease it down. A little closure of the shoulder blades towards one another and feel that lift in that sternum. Imagine you have a nice bright light in the front of your chest there. Shine it forward. Use the floor to gently press away from the ground. Just let that forehead rest there now as we go into some work for the back of our legs and into our bottom. Really think here that your pubic bone just gently presses to the floor and we're drawing the lower part of your stomach away from the ground. Feel that you have length through the legs, so stretch your knees out as much as possible and always go for length over height. Taking it to the other side now, preparing for our book openings. You now know this exercise, you're feeling quite comfortable with it. Feeling that tailbone reach towards your heels and open towards the other direction. It's like your elbow has a paintbrush attached to it and it just sweeps towards the ceiling and then creates that lovely brush-like motion towards the wall behind you. This particular exercise really enables your spine to move so much more freer. Think about moving one vertebra at a time the best you can. The legs are nice and still. And using that breath, always exhale to open, placing the hand in front for a little bit of support, remembering that towel under the head if you need to. Heels are super glued together as we open into our clams. It's like we've actually planted a little stake between the two hips, holding it very sturdy there, asking the movement to be within the joint of your hip and the tailbone to be reaching out towards your heels. Keeping the length through the waist, using the out breath. As both heels raise now, we're still organizing through our posture. You can always imagine that you're just lifting the underneath side of your waist, as if enough space there to place a blueberry. Fold through that top knee and then let it gently close. Imagine a resistance as that knee's coming down. Excellent work, feeling that strength building into the lower part of your bottom. Holding onto the knees towards your chest and then allow them to roll within the joints of your hips. So gently bring them towards you as we create these wonderful circles within the hips. Thinking of that thigh bone rolling around as if we put a few drops of olive oil into that hip socket, creating that mobility. And this will just enhance the movement that you have outside of your Pilates workout. Mobility in the hip is so very, very important for simple things as walking to the much more complex movements, whether it be gymnastics, cricket bowling, whatever your choice of sport is. From here now, holding onto the back of your thighs, use that as a little lever and bringing yourself all the way up into that seated position. We're now moving into some work through to the upper body. So organizing those arms underneath the shoulders and those hips over the knee line. Think about the belly drawing into the small of your back and imagine that we have a rod along the back of your head through to your tailbone. We're now going to ask our body to come into beautiful flexion like an angry cat and then allow it to go into a little bit of extension. Round your back as if the nose is coming towards your belly button. Then feel the tailbone reach in one direction, the head in the other, and then open through the upper part of your back. Organizing from one side now to the other. So we shorten one side of your waist and then we shorten the other side of the waist. We're bringing the hip towards the shoulder, back through the middle and looking over the other side, back through the center. Now let's join it all together. So rounding through your spine, shortening one side, extend and travel the whole way through. and allow as much mobility as you feel comfortable, but remembering the entire time you still have that zipper from the pubic bone towards the belly button. Don't forget to reverse it here. Good. Allow the head to roll with the spine, making it as comfortable as you possibly can. Return into a nice supported position through the knees, down through the hands, and then floating one arm and replace it down. Use the out breath as that arm floats up, and inhale, replace it back to the floor. Think of the arm moving independently of the body. Feel those shoulders sliding down, and it's like you still have a connection of the muscles through from the armpit through to your waist. Letting those heels and bottom connect, stretching those arms in the opposite direction. By tucking your toes under, having a little stretch there for your feet. Enjoy that stretch for the feet. From here, hollow through your belly a little more, and then press back in towards the heels. Transfer forward. And now lift the tailbone to the ceiling, let the head fall in line with your shoulders and the heels come towards the ground. Create a nice long line through your spine. Rise up onto tippy toes and exhale as the heels melt to the floor. Inhale as you rise up and exhale as you melt down through the calves and the back of your legs. Inhale, rise, and exhale as you lower. Keep enjoying that stretch and then walk your hands back towards your feet. Let the arms, the neck, the head just dangle towards the ground. Feel free to bend your knees if you need to. And then gently extend the legs up. So we're enhancing that stretch there. Inhale, bend, and exhale as you stretch. Traveling your spine into a lovely tall position, one vertebra at a time, until you come up nice and tall. From here, nod the head forward as if peeling your spine off that imaginary wall. Let the arms just hang. Prepare, inhale, then exhale, walk your arms with nice 4 movements, extending through the crown of your head, and then travel those arms along those same pattern. As you're rolling up, the tailbone slides down and we work one vertebra at a time, always feeling free to bend your knees if that feels better for you. Exhale as you nod the chin, gently rolling down towards the ground. Walk those hands with 4 really precise movements into a lovely long plank position. From here, as you direct the tailbone upwards, your chest towards your thighs, and then you're peeling your spine back against that imaginary wall, one vertebra at a time, always using and starting from that stomach. Exhale as you're rolling down. Prepare, inhale. Exhale as you walk it out towards the plank, building up on that upper body strength. Inhale. Exhale, walk those hands back. Prepare, inhale, exhale, feel the stomach move away from your thighs, round your back. The head is the very last part of that movement to stack lovely and tall. Little half squats now. It's like your body is staying in very neutral alignment, feeling that weight down through your heels, open into a little bit of extension there, and then come up tall again. So we're sinking down through the heels, keep the body long, then feel a little open position of the sternum working through the upper back. Replace those ribs back towards the hips and then straighten the legs. Keep nice and tall as we open into a more dynamic position now. So we're opening through the front, the hips are allowed to press gently forward. Inhale and exhale as you gently rock. Inhale, open, And allow those arms to extend out to the side and relax. Congratulations, you've completed your first class.